Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really digging into something important, how we can shift our approach for helping older adults dealing with, the cognitive fog. We're looking at applied behavior analysis, ABA, but moving beyond just getting tasks done, the focus, engineering confidence, restoring that feeling of independence. We want to pull out the practical stuff you can actually use. Let's start with a story, really, that just nails the problem. Sources talk about Mrs. H. Now, her setup was textbook perfect. Bright red key hook right by the door. Laminated checklist for the shower, step by step. Even a magnet on the stove off. These are all great antecedents. The A in ABA, designed to trigger the right behavior, the B. And she did it. Follow the steps, check, check, check. But then afterwards, when her son wasn't right there, she just sort of slumped onto the couch and said, I feel like a child. Just deflated.
Yeah, and that sigh, that feeling, it tells you everything. It shows this huge gap in how we often approach this. We gave her the setup, the A, and she did the action, the B, but we totally missed the C, the consequence. And that's our mission today, really, to show you that this missing ingredient, the reinforcement,
Yeah.
that's the key. It's how we turn just doing the steps into feeling genuinely competent again. We have to actively replace that internal thumbs up that the fog steals. That's how we break the anxiety cycle and rebuild that self-assurance.
Okay, let's unpack that right away, because it sounds like the real measure isn't did the stove get turned off.
Yeah.
It's did Mrs. H feel okay afterwards? Did she feel successful? So if that inner voice, the one that says, yep, handled it, has gone quiet, leaving just doubt, how do we step in? How does the environment or the people around her provide that missing reward, that feeling of done and safe?
Exactly. And it's crucial to understand how that internal feedback loop actually breaks down. Under stress, under doubt, normally, right? In let's call it the original loop, it's self-reinforcing. You do the behavior be like, check the stove is off. And immediately inside, you get this little surge of peace or safety. That feeling is the reinforcement. That's the C, the consequence happening naturally.
Makes sense. You feel the click, the relief.
But when anxiety or that cognitive uncertainty creeps in, you get what we might call the fog loop. You check the stove, same action, but because you're doubting yourself, the consequence C is, well, maybe nothing. Or worse, maybe it's a spike of anxiety.
Like, did I really do it right? Maybe I should check again.
Precisely. That missing internal signal, the one that should say, stop, you're good, you're safe, that's why people get stuck checking. Or asking someone else, did I lock the door again and again? The task is done technically, but the worry just hangs there.
Right. And let's be super clear here. When we talk reinforcement, we're not talking about, gold stars or bribing someone with treats. It's more fundamental. It's about providing that necessary positive signal that the person's own internal system just isn't generating reliably anymore. We're basically designing a way to signal, okay, task complete, you did it, you can relax now.
And that ties directly into self-efficacy, which is basically just believing you can actually do things successfully. When an older adult starts losing trust in their memory or their focus, well, that belief gets shattered. They might even stop trying to do things independently because the fear of messing up and that awful feeling afterwards, it's too much.
So it's preemptive avoidance almost.
Yeah, exactly. And what's really interesting here, I think, is that we're not trying to directly fix the memory loss with this ABA approach. We're treating the doubt. We're treating the anxiety that stops someone from even attempting to be independent. By making sure that success is followed predictably, by feeling calm and capable, we rebuild their belief that they can handle their routines.
Okay, connecting this out a bit. The sources seem to agree that the really powerful reinforcements, especially for adults, tap into basic human needs. Things like feeling certain, feeling comfortable, feeling connected. So let's look at the types of consequences, the types of reinforcement we can actually put in place to meet those needs.
Right. We can kind of group them into three areas. There's sensory or comfort reinforcement, then there's social reinforcement, and the ultimate goal, natural reinforcement. Let's start with sensory and comfort. This one gets missed sometimes, I think, because we focus so much on praise. But this isn't just about general comfort. It's intentional. It's about grounding someone.
How does that work practically?
Well, for an older adult, especially after a challenging task, that consequence needs to hit fast, be tangible. So maybe after they've managed getting dressed, which can be tough, the caregiver immediately hands them their favorite warm mug of tea, nice and heavy, or guides them to that comfy armchair and puts a weighted blanket over their lap.
So the physical sensation itself is the signal.
Exactly. The weight, the warmth, it's immediate, nonverbal. It tells the body, okay, the effort part is over. Time for rest, time for safety. For someone else, it might be a specific smell they like, lavender maybe, paired consistently with finishing a stressful task. It links the action to calm.
That makes a lot of sense. It bypasses the need for complex thought and just signals relax directly to the body, reducing that tension. But okay, we're social animals too. Connection's huge. How do we use social interaction as reinforcement without it feeling, I don't know, patronizing or just like empty praise?
Yeah, that's a really critical point. Social interaction is super motivating, but the way we do it matters immensely. We have to deliver it specifically to reinforce the independent behavior, not accidentally reinforce anxiety or dependence. And this is where the contrast is stark. There's a right way and a wrong way.
Okay, give us the wrong way first.
The wrong way, even if you mean well, often end up focusing on the negative or like the relief that something bad didn't happen. Like saying, oh, I'm so glad you remembered the checklist this time. You didn't have to call me.
Oof. Yeah, I can see that. It puts the focus on the potential failure and the caregiver's relief.
Exactly. It highlights what almost went wrong. The right way. It needs to zero in on the independent success itself and then immediately link that success to something the person actually wants or enjoys. A desired activity, a feeling.
Like what?
Like, hey, I noticed you put your keys right on the hook the second you came in. Fantastic. That means your coming home checklist is done, so now you get 15 minutes of your favorite music uninterrupted.
Ah, okay. So you link these specific action keys on hook to a tangible, positive outcome they value music time.
Precisely. Success leads directly to something good.
I get the idea of that immediate link. Specificity. But let's be real for a second. That sounds intense. For the caregiver, if I have to be that precise and that immediate, like 20 times a day for every little thing, what do the sources say about caregiver burnout? Because that sounds like a recipe for it.
That's a very real, very important question. And the research definitely acknowledges caregivers aren't robots, right? You can't be a perfect behavioral engineer 24/7. What the literature, especially those findings from Baker and the Dowdies in 2020, really emphasizes is focus. Focus your consistency on one specific target behavior at a time. Pick the thing that matters most.
So not everything.
No, definitely not everything all at once. Maybe it's just getting the morning routine done smoothly. Or maybe it is just consistently using that key hook. Pick the behavioral chain that, if successful, gives the biggest boost to their feeling of independence and calm. Consistency isn't about being perfect all day long. It's about making success predictable for that one chosen target. That's manageable.
Okay, that makes it feel much more doable. So it's like scaffolding then. A warm smile maybe, or a calm tone and gentle touch. Right after they succeed, you're sort of attaching that feeling of security, of you've got this, to the act itself, building self-esteem bit by bit.
That's exactly it. Scaffolding is a great word for it. And while these external supports, these external reinforcements are vital to start, the ultimate aim, the real goal of ABA here, is to get to natural reinforcement. Meaning the goal is for the routines, the checklists, the environmental cues like the key hook, for them to become so smooth, so reliable, that the natural result of doing them just being safe or being clean or feeling relaxed becomes the strongest reward again. Internally.
So the environment itself becomes reinforcing.
Yes. But we might need to help make that natural consequence more obvious, more immediate, especially at first. So if the task was wiping down the kitchen counter, the reinforcement isn't just saying, good job. It's maybe guiding them to step back, look at it, and saying, look how sparkling clean that is now. Feels good, doesn't it? You point out the natural result. If they sorted the laundry, you immediately open the drawer and say, wow, look how neat that is. Easy to find everything now.
The organized drawer is the reward.
Which brings us right back to Mrs. H. Her son started doing this, didn't he? Yes, he shifted his approach. He didn't just give praise for following the list. He explicitly linked her independent success with the checklist to something she loved, a social outcome.
Right, he'd say something like,
Mom, look, checklist is all done. You handled everything. You know what that means. We've got an extra half hour for our walk in the park today.
ah. So the behavior using the checklist successfully was immediately reinforced by something she genuinely valued. More time, connection, certainty about the park trip. It made her want to use the system.
Exactly. It gave the routine a purpose beyond just compliance.
Okay, this is incredibly helpful. Now, let's get super practical. For the caregivers listening, maybe family members, in those everyday moments, which can be chaotic, what are the absolute must-dos, the non-negotiables for making this reinforcement actually work?
Okay, two things consistently rise to the top: immediacy and specificity. They're the pillars. First, Immediacy. That positive consequence, whatever it is, the praise, the tea, the music time, it has to happen fast, within seconds of the task being
Why
finished.
so fast?
Because if you wait, even say 30 seconds, you might accidentally reinforce whatever happened in those 30 seconds. Maybe they finished the task and then started pacing anxiously. If you praise them, then you might be reinforcing the pacing, not the task completion. Timing is critical.
Got it. Immediate link. What's the second pillar?
Specificity.
Yeah.
You absolutely have to move beyond just saying good job or nice work. It's too vague. The language needs to clearly state what they did well and, crucially, point towards the natural, positive result or feeling.
Can you give that shower example again?
Sure, instead of just good job showering, you'd say something like, wow, I see you checked off every single step on your shower list. That's fantastic. You took care of yourself perfectly, and you must feel so comfortable and fresh now.
So you name the behavior, checked off list, praise the competence, took care of yourself perfectly, and highlight the positive internal state, comfortable, fresh.
Exactly. You're validating their effort and connecting it directly to the desired feeling.
And this whole system, it seems, hinges entirely on using consequences that the person actually values, their preferences. If you offer, I don't know, extra TV time to someone who doesn't care about TV, it's not going to reinforce anything, right?
Absolutely not. It has to be something they genuinely find rewarding.
So how do we figure that out? Especially if communication is difficult. We can't always just ask, what do you want as a reward?
No, asking might not work or might get unreliable answers. Observation is key here. You almost need to become a bit of a detective. You could even make a little mental checklist or a simple chart, a preference assessment. Watch what the person naturally gravitates towards when they are feeling relaxed and safe. What do they choose to do?
What kinds of things should you look for?
Look for frequency. What do they do often? And intensity. What seems to bring them real joy or deep relief? Do they always let out a big sigh and immediately reach for their knitting? That intense desire to knit, that's your clue. Use knitting time as a reinforcer.
Or maybe they always try to listen to a certain piece of music.
Yes. Or they constantly seek out quiet, uninterrupted time. Or maybe it's looking at old photos. Use those things they already show you they value. Sometimes, a quick 2-minute phone call with a grandchild, timed perfectly after getting dressed, can be way more powerful than half an hour of generic praise.
And linking this back again to that 2020 research, it makes sense why they specifically targeted things like social engagement, feeling competent, and activities based on preferences,
Yeah.
because those are the things directly tied to quality of life.
That's right. The research found that when routines are set up to guarantee success, which builds that feeling of competence, and when that success is consistently followed by things the person genuinely likes, whether it's social time or a preferred activity, well, then the anxiety just naturally starts to decrease.
Because success becomes predictable.
That's the ultimate takeaway, I think. Quality of life gets better when success feels predictable. And that predictability itself, that certainty that, okay, if I do this, it will work out and I will feel okay, that certainty becomes the most powerful reinforcement of all. It rebuilds that internal trust.
Wow. Okay, so let's try and wrap up this deep dive. The core message seems to be, we don't have to focus solely on fixing memory to bring back calm and confidence. Instead, we need to shift our energy hard towards that ease of consequence, designing the world around the person and our interactions so that success isn't just possible, it's almost inevitable. And the reward, feeling confident, feeling calm, follows right away, reliably. We're using that full ABC structure to deliberately replace anxiety with self-assuredness, rebuilding trust, one successful routine, one moment of earned calm at a time.
Absolutely. And, it leaves us with a pretty interesting question to ponder, doesn't it, for you listening? If we can actually restore this sense of calm and capability in others by focusing on consistent, positive consequences, by guaranteeing predictable success, well, how might applying that same principle, designing systems for predictable success, change our own experiences with anxiety and competence in our sometimes chaotic daily lives? Maybe we all could use a bit more reliable, positive feedback for the effort we put in.